Hello and welcome to a new SEGA News Bits. I'm your host George, and with me is Barry.
Happy E3 miss.
Is that like a holiday now?
I guess so.
All right. We're going to be talking about Sonic Mania. First, we're going to be talking about the trailer we missed and we didn't talk about, Chemical Plant Zone.
Yes.
And they showed off a little bit of Act 1 and a little bit of Act 2. And it seemed to me that Act 1 was exactly the Sega Genesis one, right?
There's some differences. I'm sure it's either a completely new map or the original map but greatly expanded, like Green Hill Act 1.
Well, what they showed us, it looked like it was just the course from the Genesis game, right?
Pretty similar. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Act 2 was when, like, the new gimmicks came out, right? They had the gel water thing from Sonic CD, and then they had the sticky tab things, platforms, and then the DNA spiral thing that looked like a super scaler.
Yeah, and the water thing's cool because it looks like the water functions as it does in the original game, but then if you hit a syringe once, like the blue syringe, it makes the water bouncy, and if you do the next syringe, it makes the water green, and then it's super bouncy. And so you can control how bouncy the water is by putting more chemicals into it.
And that's pretty cool. I mean, what is your thoughts on remaking Chemical Plant Zone, and you think that it deserved to be another game after it was in Generations?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is probably my favorite Sonic stage. I remember I'd always play Sonic 2, and then when I'd get to this one, I'd just play the hell out of it and be disappointed when it was over. As for Sonic Generations, I feel like people need to stop playing that, like, we already saw it in Generations. It's like, Mario gets a free pass when he gets to do Mushroom Kingdom for the 1000th time, but we can't have Chemical Plant Zone like twice.
And I think that why people really loved Chemical Plant Zone was because it was like the first brand new stage in Sonic 2, because the first one was Emerald Hill Zone, which is kind of Green Hill Zone technically.
True.
So it was like the first brand new level from the ground up that looked super brand new and you never saw it before.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
And I think, and it fits into this game, and I like the gimmicks they added in Act 2. I think it kind of makes everything look different. Like, it makes you rethink the game, and then the music is the remix is really well done. But you want to talk about Act 2's boss?
Oh, yes. And so I believe the demo that people are able to play at, maybe they're going to have more, maybe they're going to have Chemical Plant at E3, I'm not sure yet, but you will be able to play Acts 1 and 2 of Green Hill Zone in full, and that's going to include a end boss, which actually turns out to be the ultimate end boss of Sonic 2, the giant mech walker. And so that's pretty cool. What did you think about it when you saw it?
I thought it was pretty cool. I think they're doing this whole like Bayonetta thing where, like, when you play Bayonetta 2 right away, it's like the biggest boss you've ever fought in your life. Kind of like trying to show you that, like, we're coming full steam ahead, and I guess having the boss from Sonic 2 as the first boss kind of shows that in Sonic Mania.
Yeah, and it's funny too, and we'll get more into it in our Sonic Forces video, but you see the same thing there, where their Green Hill Zone end boss is actually the like ultimate end boss from Sonic Unleashed. So it's the same idea, and I think it was probably not planned. I'm sure Christian Whitehead and his team was probably like, oh, let's do the big bad boss at the very beginning, and then I'm sure Sonic team was like, oh, let's do the big bad boss at the very beginning of Sonic Forces. So it's fun.
And I agree. But what do you think about this whole, like, they're showing off older levels and not new levels, and Aaron Weber even said he wanted to keep them as surprises instead of showing them off?
I think that's fine. I think more than enough people are sold on Sonic Mania. I'm sure they'll show maybe one more unique stage before the game releases. But, I mean, really, what have we seen? We've seen 2 new stages in 3 returning stages, right? Flying Battery, Chemical Plant, Green Hill Zone, Studiopolis, and, what was it, Mirage?
So, it was like Saloon Mirage.
Mirage Saloon, that's it.
There you go. And my only thing is, like, okay, it's almost coming out. It feels like there's still so many unanswered questions. They've never confirmed it's going to have animated cutscenes. They never confirmed how many stages it's going to have. And we're sitting here getting, like, I guess, crumbs, it's kind of like a difference in like how they advertise Sonic games usually. It seems like they're okay with leaving a lot of mystery there.
Yeah, it is interesting because you look at the classic games and they were more than they like. As soon as they had a chance, they'd be like 14 stages with lock-on technology, 3 playable characters. You know, like they were not afraid to tell you. The difference is they didn't show you. You know, you had to find out for yourself. So I feel like with Sonic Mania, they really should start saying, I don't know how many stages are in the game, but let's say there are 8 or 9. Be like 9 stages with returning favorites and all new ones, 3 characters. Animated cutscenes. You don't need to show them to us, but start teasing the game a little bit more. In fact, I had kind of a funny story at work today. Sonic the Hedgehog came up, and that never happens. And one of my coworkers was like, Sonic's never had a good game. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, all the new ones are bad. And I'm like, well, have you played them? And he goes, no. And I said, well, they're making a new one that's like the classics called Sonic Mania. And he was like, I haven't heard about that. And like 2 other people were like, what? I've never heard of that. So it's the general public does not know about this game.
I think they're banking on word of mouth.
Yeah.
Before I close this up, I have one question.
Go for
How
it.
How many levels do you think Sonic Mania is going to have?
I think it's going to have 5 or 6 returning levels, and I think maybe 4 or 5 brand new levels.
Okay, so that seems like a pretty good portion. I mean, you think it's going to be the largest classic style game, I guess?
I think it's going to be on par with Sonic 3 and Knuckles in terms of size. Yeah.
And I think that's pretty good. What do you guys think about Chemical Plant Zone? Do you think it's been reused too much? What do you think about the Green Hill Zone Act 2 boss? Let us know in the comments below, and thanks for watching.
What'd you think of